Hello. One of the reasons uh, that the Constitution was made was in order to establish domestic tranquility. I don't think anybody who is um, an honest observer of the last month or so is going to say that we have that. Possibly, I would say we haven't had it in 6 or 8 years at least. So, what do we do to move from where we are now to domestic tranquility? Well, one thing we have to do is to give people more freedom to manage their own affairs as they see fit. We can't continue to try to micromanage every part of the country from Washington, D.C. It isn't working, it won't work, it can't work. So we have to stop the fascist policies of micromanaging businesses, micromanaging governments, micromanaging uh, individuals, uh, and give that command, give that freedom back to the people. And if they want to have their more middle manager level, local level people do it, that's within their rights, but it's not. Uh, so we have to reestablish the United States as a constitutional republic of many states that are independent in many factors. Uh, I think that um, we also need to disrupt the domestic terrorist organizations. Absolutely, 100%. And this is any organization that either has demonstrated use of force in order to for, further a political agenda, or has stated that they wish to use force to further a political agenda. Um, it This, of course, means that it doesn't matter whether this is part of a religion or not, whether this is part of a uh, race, color, or creed or not. It doesn't matter. If you are using force for political purposes, if you state that you are going to use that, if if your creed calls for force, then there's no quarter. The government must remove your group, and so that's my position on that. Now, this will not be tranquil to do. But it will, in short order, assure domestic tranquility, um, as those uh, specifically traitorous people. Traitor. Being a traitor uh, in the Constitution specifically says giving aid or support to your enemies, to the enemies of the United States, and if you are using violence against the political uh, structure of the United States, this is putting yourself as an enemy. Terrorism, even though it is not a state actor, is a legitimate use of force by the government. As an anarchist at heart, a person who I shouldn't say I'm an anarchist at heart. Because if the government could be reined in, if the government could return to protecting civil rights and restoring equity in situations, I would be in favor of it. But most of what the government does at this point is not doing that. It is not fulfilling the ideals of the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution's preamble. When, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bonds which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinion of mankind requires that they should declare their causes which impel them to separation. That is the first paragraph of the Declaration of Independence. That declaration wasn't technically needed. The war had started with Lexington and Concord when they tried to steal the guns, when they tried to seize the guns of the colonists. The war had been on by the time this was written, over a year. And the Constitution says, we, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Do we at this point have liberty? We are their posterity. Do we have liberty? No. That is my answer. We do not. I wish to return to law and order. If you do too, vote for me, Jonathan Shadkey, or for some other candidate who believes that we can restore order, that we can restore domestic tranquility. And write it in. Don't ever cast an electronic automatic vote that doesn't leave a paper trail that can be recounted. Electronic votes cannot be counted more than the once. Everything you do on a computer can be modified. Everything. As a computer programmer, I know this. And it can be modified, and the record of you modifying it can be modified. You've put in a false record of modifications. You put there's no way to know. No way. Uh, it's even worse when you're on the cloud because you don't even know the physical hardware. You can't even go back, look at the hard drive, see what was written over multiple times. No. Okay. So make sure there's a paper trail. Make sure it's lawful. Peace and joy. May you have a good week. Better than this last week for me. I've literally been pretty sick. I had a flu, a little bit of fever on Tuesday night, and been recovering from that. A little bit of chest coughing. Should clear up today. It looks like my toddler brought it into the house. He had a fever the night before I did. And that happens. I just hope my wife doesn't get terribly sick. Um, live long and prosper.